Well, hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to our 9th anniversary live on what went Thursday. Thursday. It is day 8. So, what does that mean, Shelly?
I don't know. What does that mean?
Tomorrow's day 9. It's what we're going for. The whole build up. It's not in the script. I don't
No
even
trick
know.
questions.
All right.
We went off script, right?
We'll practice that. Anyways, we have 9 days. So we're on day 8, 9 lives, 9 guests. And tonight's one of our favorites. 9 years, 19 minutes. So we're going to try and keep it at 19 minutes. And we have with us the one and only BJ Garrett, who is a dear friend. And we're so happy she's here. So we're going to start tonight by just talking a little bit about some fun facts about Redemption Press.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to jump in. And Athena, so over these last 7 days, now the 8th day, you've shared some fun facts and some new, or not new, but just more details about Redemption Press. So tell us tonight about Redemption Press and the partners that we partner with within the industry. Give us some insight into that.
I will. We have a number of agents that actually send authors to us when they realize that they're not able to get them a contract and they know they have something worth publishing. They send them to us. So I have a number of agents that do that on a regular basis, and they love having a company that they know they can trust. Also some publishers that send us folks, and editors that send people our way. But I think my favorite partnership is with conferences, and there are a number of conferences that we partner with, that we promote, that we sponsor, and that we just love locking arms with.
Yeah, that's so good. And we have quite a lot that we do partner with, right? But there are a few, though, I think that have become like really crucial to helping our authors get their message out to the world. So tell us a little bit about a few of those very special partnerships that we have.
Well, after we finished the Women of Joy tour, and I was like, okay, what else is out there that would be where we would be a real asset to them and they could be an asset to us, and we could really partner together. And I approached the Christian Communicators organization that puts on the Christian Communicators Conference, Tammy Whitehurst and Lori Boroff, and just they'd never had any sponsors before then. And I just said, this is what I would love to do, because authors need to be speakers and speakers need to be authors. And we just ended up developing a partnership where we would sponsor the CCC event, and they have helped and sponsored and been part of some of our events. So that has been a just delightful and amazing partnership with them. And you're going to hear more about them in a minute. But then Speak Up, Carol Kent's Speak Up Conference is another one that we sponsor and have a really good back and forth relationship where we really send people their way, they send people our way. The Blue Ridge Christian Writers Conference, Blue Ridge Mountain Christian Writers Conference, and they sponsor the CELA Awards. So having that partnership where we submit the best of our best into the CELA Awards every year, and that is an amazing conference. The Blue Ridge Conference is separate than the CELA Awards, but the CELA Awards are held at the Blue Ridge Conference. And then I guess the last one I would mention is the Christian Product Expo, which we partner with to bring our authors into a setting where they're able to meet retailers from across the country and present their books to those small independent Christian bookstores who would want to have them on the shelves.
Awesome. So we stay very busy, don't we? And our authors. All right, Carol, You're up.
All right. So you started answering these questions already within that, but when we really want to focus our writers, and we actually do it sometimes as a reunion and tell our writers to go to a conference. Can you tell us a little bit more about Speak Up and when it is and how that conference is going to work this summer?
Well, that is actually where I first met Carol many years ago, 2018.
18.
Yeah, 2018. I was her first appointment. And so Carol Kent puts on an event that has a speaker track and a writer track. And it is in Grand Rapids, Michigan, July 13th through the 15th this year. And Carol and I are both going to be there teaching on the faculty. Carol's going to be running their virtual piece of the conference, and as well as teaching in the actual physical attendee conference. And it is it's very well respected. Carol is the best. She is just the best. And we love being part of that and introducing our authors to that equipping opportunity. And it's always a great place to be.
Yeah. And this summer I'm doing a pre-conference actually, teaching how to write a Bible study, like an intensive. So I know I have a lot of people that's been asking me about that. So that's a great place to go to get that. So all of us on the screen have been a part of Christian Communicators Conference in the Dallas, Texas area. And so Athena, can you just tell, you did a little bit, but how do they really support us as Redemption Press? And then how do we likewise support them?
Well, we are able to be there at the CCC conferences. I've been both as a participant and a sponsor. So I've done both of those roles at the conference. And so not only do they really allow us that time to be with their attendees who are not only trying to improve their craft of speaking, but realizing I need a book on the table in the back of the room. So they're for them to just, they have fully vetted us and made sure that we were the kind of people they wanted to endorse to their attendees and their members of the Christian Communicators. So it has been really good in that regard. But then also Tammy helped me co-host our first in-person event, the Proclaim event. And that was an amazing event, and she was just killer. She always is. And she is going to help co-host our upcoming virtual conference in April. So we are super excited to have her help with that.
Very excited. And last year at CCC, we actually had a new development that we did with CCC in a compilation, and bringing their author or their speakers together to write a devotional book so that they will have a book on the back of their table. And so that's something kind of new, and we'll see how this one works, if it's something that we continue to do with Christian Communicators. So BJ, yes, Joy, we did meet you there last year. How fun. I mean, we are so grateful for that. Joy is one of our authors in process right now. So BJ, tell us a little bit about your experience at Christian Communicators.
Well, obviously, I love Christian Communicators because that's where I signed my contract with Redemption Press. So, but for me as a speaker, Christian Communicators really unlocked this, the calling on my life. I kind of call myself a closeted speaker at that point. I was kind of embarrassed and almost ashamed of the calling that God had placed on my life. And so when I went to this conference, they just really unleashed that and gave me the freedom to embrace the calling that God gave me. And now this will be my 4th time to attend this coming July.
Love that. We are so excited that you're going to be there, and Shelly is going to be there too this summer. So Shelly, what are you most looking forward to about Christian Communicators?
Well, so this is my 4th year in a row attending Christian Communicators, and this is a really unique conference. And what I've observed many things through this, but one of the things I think that has been just absolutely amazing, and I'm looking forward to it this coming year as well, is that seeing women who on every part of the spectrum, just an aspiring speaker, they know they have a calling, but they're not a speaker yet necessarily, to those who are very seasoned speakers, come to the conference. But inevitably, there's women who finally find their place, and just this sense of belonging and feel valued, and they fit in, and they know they fit in, and they know that they're not there to compete, that they don't have to compare themselves, that they have cheerleaders, they have a sisterhood that is going to cheer them on in their successes and cry with them in their losses, or in their struggles. So anyway, I'm so excited to see that. It happens every year, and it's so unique, I think, to this particular conference. So can't wait.
Yeah.
So I am gonna tell a little bit of the story of first meeting BJ at CCC, and that was that was so cool, because I'm like, I have to tell you, BJ, I cannot even imagine you being some sort of a closet like person communicator, because you are like, you light up a room, you fill up the stage, your like story is so amazing. And
thank you.
Yeah, so no, you're not. I can't imagine you ever being that. Well, maybe in your head you were like that, but in reality, I don't think you were. Because even when I met you that first year that you came to CCC, and you walked up to me, just ugly crying, right? Going,
I'm not the dainty crier.
oh my goodness! But you were just like beside yourself, because you just felt like, I can't do this. I don't have the money to publish. I don't have the money to do it right. I don't know how to do it. You just were beside yourself. And I just knew God was going to work this thing out. And so I told you that. I just said, you know what? I am not worried about that at all. Yeah. Because if God is moving you in this direction, he will be the provider. And he certainly was, to the point of over and above what anything we could have imagined. And I just loved the way that he took that desire in your heart to go beyond just you in person, because your book could go way beyond you at a speaking engagement and in Texas or in the United States. It could go around the world. And it has done that.
It has. And it was just such a big moment, because for me, my journey had gone for so long, and I had so many roadblocks at one after another. And this was such a pivotal moment for me with this book and with the Lord, really, that it was just like, oh my goodness, this is actually going to happen. And it did. And now I have a super successful book that's doing very good, and an audio book, and it's just been awesome.
Well, what's so fun is you were like the first. You're the first author to sign with us at our first year at Christian Communicators. And now, I mean, there's a bunch of authors on here right now that are part of the Christian community. I mean, we met Christina Custodio there, Joy Wendling, Christina England. There's
Michelle Rudell. She's also one of our authors.
Yep, Michelle Rudell. And it's wild what the quality of women with a message, not just like, okay, I can try and get behind this, but I don't know. I mean, I've never had any hesitation with any of the women that I have met at Christian Communicators. Just the quality and the caliber of speakers, amazing. So I want to take this moment to transition into a little bit about you, BJ, and your book. And I'm going to hold the book up right here, because this, by the way, was a Selah Memoir of the Year book. I mean, that's like a big deal. Do you know who won Memoir of the Year this last year? Bob Hope's memoir. Okay, so that's putting you in some pretty good company, you think? My goodness. So let me tell you a little bit about Unwanted No More, from exploited to embraced by God. After finding herself unprotected, unloved, and unwanted by a sexually abusive father and an absent mother, author BJ Garrett's search for self-worth leads to sexual promiscuity, unplanned pregnancies, And it's not until losing everything to the blaze of a house fire that BJ's life takes a turn towards God, whose love is pure. And written with soul-searching vulnerability, Unwanted No More reminds you that no matter how ugly your past, you can experience unconditional love in a relationship with Christ. So, BJ, so well done on taking a hard story like that and having it be a tool for the Lord to draw people to himself. And that's what he is doing with your story. Woo! So tell us something about your experience with Redemption Press, something that maybe you're thankful for from during your journey.
So that is such a loaded question because there's so much, literally from the very first meeting where I was ugly crying until my press release, and then even with my audiobook. But probably the most powerful times, well, I have to say there's really more than that, but the personal commitment of the team that walks on this journey, because I didn't know how to write a book. That's why I was so desperate for help, right? And so Redemption Press literally held my hand through every process. I had an amazing project manager that prayed for me. But beyond that, the writing coach. Like I didn't know how to tell my story effectively. I spoke my story often, but speaking your story, as I now know, and writing your story are completely different. And so having that writing coach that helped draw out these beautiful questions that helped me to show my readers what I had experienced, but in a safe and not vulgar way, because a lot of my story is pretty vulgar. And so that was a beautiful experience for me.
So good. Yeah, you want to make sure that when you're retelling your story, you're not re-traumatizing people or triggering them. And there's an art to that. And that's what your coach was able to help you craft, so that even though there's some really hard stuff, it's told in a way that really helps the reader grasp, wow, if God can do this for her, he can do it for me.
Yeah.
And that's instead of, getting tripped up, which, sometimes, I mean, I didn't know what I didn't know on my first book. So I would have thought I had to tell all the details and all the ugly, and you don't have to do to that level.
Yes.
And so having that coach really is a big difference. And I'm glad it was one of those moments for you. So tell us how God has used the message of your book, because I've heard some amazing stories, but I would love for those who are tuned in right now and even those who watch later to hear about that.
Well, really, the biggest thing is the people that have come to know the Lord through reading my book and reading the prayer at the end. I have just a call to action, salvation prayer at the end. I've had so many people I don't know, people that I do know, people that went to school with my children that have accepted Christ just from reading my book. And that's the whole point. The only reason I ever share any of my ugly is to highlight how good God is and how big his grace is. And that really, in the forgiveness aspect of experiencing forgiveness from a holy God, and also extending forgiveness for the ones that have violated me. And I believe that is very well done throughout my book. Again, because of the amazing team at Redemption Press, it was done beautifully. But really, it's those salvation stories. And then also because, for those of you that don't know, I did a lot of abortion recovery. And so there have been numerous women who have gotten help from their past abortion stories because of the book that I wrote and because of the ministry that I used to serve with. That is still doing lots of work today, by the way.
So it's really opened up some doors for you, just that are outside of maybe where you used to work, but along that same line of the trauma that you live with from abortion and the healing that Jesus offers. And just for you to be able to share very candidly, what you went through and how you made those choices, and then God still forgave you and healed you. And so it's just to hear the stories of those women as well as those who just need Jesus.
Yeah, it's been amazing. So, and then the women that worked at the sex industry, there's so many people that have been changed which just kind of validates that, first off, that God did have a plan and a purpose for my story. And to just, again, I mean, this is all about Redemption Press, obviously, but you believed in me and you believed in my story, and you empowered me to step out into faith and to really trust that God was going to provide. And he did, as you've already said, abundantly. And I just can't, I love everything Redemption Press.
Well, my friend, it has been so delightful to have you on here with us.
Yes.
Thanks to me going on and on about some other things. We're a little late. We're a little over our 19 minutes, but quickly, I'll just highlight our anniversary special is we do have a publishing special, 9% to 19% off both Redemption Press and our Cole Street Press, our new imprint, and audiobooks. We are offering the 19% off on audiobooks, either author narrated or professionally narrated. So big deal. I just had a person today tell me that this person sent us to Redemption Press and she did her first book with you and it was beautiful. And she kind of did her own thing and uploaded to Amazon, did her own, DIY. And she said, I ordered both of them and there's no comparison. She said the Redemption Press book was by far, yes, you're more expensive, but it is worth it. So that was just fun to hear that just again today. I hear it all the time. But so if you are interested in publishing and you've been sitting on the fence, this is the time to get the publishing special. And it's good through, most of them are good through the 31st of January, but the audio book, I believe we're going to give you an extra week on that. Something like that. So we are going to do some giveaways and wrap this puppy up, land this plane.
All right. So you need to answer the questions correctly if you are wanting to win one of the books. And what's the first book we're going to give away?
We are going to give away BJ's book, Unwanted No More.
All right. So Unwanted No More, you need to answer this question in the chat. Where did BJ and Athena meet? So we don't have Sarah tonight to do our music.
You do not want me to do music for anybody.
All right. So
hey, Gail Taylor.
Yay.
Memoir of the year 2021.
All right. Do we have her address somewhere or does she need to message us?
If she could message me, that would be great.
All right. So message either Shelly Brown or you can message me since my name's a little bit more easy to find on Facebook because there's lots of Shelly Browns. Unless you're friends with her. All right.
I think she might be my friend.
Okay. She might be. All right. So the next book we're going to give away is
She Writes for Him, Stories of Resilient Faith, which does include BJ's has a chapter in here, as does Tammy Whitehurst, who we were just talking about partnering with from CCC. So great resource, our very first compilation that came out in May of 2020.
all right. So the question is name a conference that Redemption, I guess it's not a question. Name a conference that Redemption Press supports besides CCC, since that was the first answer.
Yeah, besides CCC.
Besides CCC. So name a conference that Redemption Press supports. Anyone?
Partners with.
Do.
Here we go.
There you go.
Oh, Debbie Ashley. Woo!
All right. Debbie Ashley.
Good job.
All right. In fact, her book, Debbie Ashley's book, is in the running for a CELA award this year.
Yes.
Yay. Very exciting. All right. Well, that's all we have for tonight. So
tomorrow's the big night, the final big Yahoo Yay party. It's going to be fun. You don't want to miss it. Same time, 4:00 Pacific, right here on whatever channel you're watching it on. We'll be here. And
we're going to have some fun tomorrow night. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And lots of prizes and lots of giveaways and all that. So you won't want to miss it.
Yay. All right.
Thank you, BJ.